Here, I just thought I'd take people on a tour of my garden today, a late season tour. Being late season, there's not really a whole lot to see, quite a few weeds, but we'll go on out and see what we can find anyway. Okay, here we go. The structure you see in the center there with the white plastic on top is tomatoes. Well, below it is tomatoes anyway. And this area here, the tomatoes get quite a bit of blight in them. So I came up with this deal where I have my tomatoes inside the concrete reinforcement wire cage. In this particular case, I have 3 cages together, and then on top of that cage, sideways, is another concrete reinforcement wire cage, which is turned sideways, as you can see. Now, this particular season, at first, I did not put guy wires on it, so my cages fell over and really messed up the tomatoes severely. So I had to put guy wires on it. As you can see here, I screwed in some I don't know what you call them, trailer auger type tie down things, about 18 inches into the ground. I did that. I did 4 of those, and that's my cat Carly, by the way. 4 of those, and then you run a wire over the top of the cage, and you run a wire through, right here, you can see it here, through the center of the cage, and partway through the cages, I got a little gap between the cages, and then I put some cement blocks. I ran the wire through cement blocks for ballast to help hold them down quite a bit extra. So anyway, this actually does help. The plastic keeps the moisture off of the tomatoes, and it really does help with the blight. They last quite a bit longer than just if you had normal cages with no plastic on top. As you can see here, that's what I have right here. I have some normal cages. I'm not sure how good it's showing up on my video here, but anyway, these here are cages without plastic on top, and I think that you can see just through the weeds anyway, just how much worse these tomatoes there look than what these tomatoes here look. Now, these tomatoes here, I ask you to remember now, these fell over. These tomatoes would have looked twice as good if they hadn't toppled over in a thunderstorm. Okay, moving on here, we have okra. Now, I have some sort of problem with my okra. The first year I grew okra here, it was fantastic okra, 10.5 foot tall. Now, it never gets over about 6 foot or so, and it gets, I think what it actually gets is fusarium wilt, which is the same thing tomatoes get, except the tomatoes are bred to control the fusarium wilt. See, really, I've got one great looking plant here, right there. I don't know if it really shows up too good or not, but really that's, all of them should look at least that good. I think what I'm going to have to do next season, I'm going to have to just not plant any okra and plow up the ground and put black plastic on top of it. Supposedly if you do that, put the black plastic on top, leave it all summer, maybe turn it over once or twice during the summer, it gets so hot that it kills out any of this fusarium wilt that's in the soil. Okay, here's my beans, which have long since played out. As you can see, the way I strung these was just a single string. My posts weren't quite tall enough, so I put a 2x4 on top of the post to make them a little bit taller. And in times past, I've done them in a teepee style, and I have just terrible Mexican bean beetle problems, And when they're in a teepee style, I go organic. I don't spray these things. And if they're in a teepee style, it's really difficult to get to all your beans to smush the bugs. So just a single strand of beans is really by far the best way to go from a bug standpoint. And I guess you can see in between the normal post, they sag down. So I have to put an additional. See that the post in the center is not dug into the ground or anything. I just put a nail in it and then push up on my wire going across. So that kind of helps take all the sag out of it. At the moment, I have a board across the bottom and just a wire across the top. Okay, moving on. Here is some pepper plants. Actually, they wound up doing pretty good. They started out slow. The first ones we're looking at right here is some sort of yellow bell pepper plants. Let's see. You can see here. I'm going to have to change the focus on my camera to closer up here to macro so you can get a better idea as to how these yellow bells look. And as you can see, there's some pretty nice pepper plants. Of course, I seldom eat them until they do turn yellow because they just taste a lot better after they turn. And here are some hot banana peppers. You can see them pretty good. And I'm going to change my focus back again and back up where you can get a little bit better overview of it here. Okay. All right. So there's my pepper plants. I also have them in concrete reinforcement wire cages. Except for these little puppies right there didn't even need to go in a cage. They're just, I don't know, little small, some kind of chili peppers, or just a little really low to the ground type peppers. And really that's just about it on my garden. I did have other stuff planted, but it's long since gone out. But I did want to show people mainly out here my plastic, which is over the tomato plants. I thought, that might give other people a good idea because it does help. It definitely does help with the blight. It's aggravating to do. I've done this third year in a row. I've done it, and the other 2 years I put my guy wires on it really early and didn't have any problems. Then I got lazy this year, didn't put a guy wire on it. First big thunderstorm, whoomp. And I thought maybe I could get by with it because let's see, I don't know. On my concrete reinforcement wire, I put these plastic type of, well, they're metal, but it's just coated in plastic. These plastic type of sticks, or whatever you want to call them, and they're kind of expensive. They cost $2 or $3 a piece, and whenever it blew over, every one of these things either bent or broke off at the ground. And we're talking, I probably had, 20 of them holding these concrete reinforcement wires down, and they wound up, bending or breaking off at the ground, which was kind of expensive, and kind of made me feel stupid for not putting my guy wires over the top of it, just the plastic to start with. But oh well, live and learn. I guess the moral is don't be lazy on your gardening. Go ahead and get her done. Okay, so that was a tour of my garden, and I hope you YouTubers enjoyed it. I'll try to post some further videos. I probably won't be posting a lot of videos in the future, but one every now and then anyway. Okay, bye-bye.